Apple has announced their plans for watchOS 6, and here's 5. No, let's make that an even 6 things you need to know about it. I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is Vector. Once upon a time, if you wanted an iPhone or iPad, you had to have a Mac or Windows PC to connect with in order to configure it, update it, and sync it. Then came iOS 5, iCloud, PC free, and if you wanted an iPhone or iPad, that was all you had to get. Now, today, if you want an Apple Watch, you still have to have an iPhone to pair it with in order to better configure, manage, and connect it. But with watchOS 6, we're taking another small step towards iPhone free with an on-watch app store. That means you no longer have to get apps on your iPhone and transfer them over to your Apple Watch. Developers no longer even have to make iPhone apps just to make an app for your Apple Watch. Now, developers can make apps just for the watch, and you can launch the App Store right from the carousel, browse and get apps and download them directly to your wrist. And despite the small screen size, it's surprisingly usable. You can browse the curated content or search for anything you want using Siri, dictation, or Scribble. To better take advantage of their independence, Apple has added new application programming interfaces to let apps run for extended periods of time, to stream audio directly so podcast apps and other music and audio apps can play content for you even if you didn't download it first. To make them run even better, Apple has introduced a new interface technology called SwiftUI, which is not only highly efficient and legible and offers a playground-like dynamic development environment, but apps built with it run natively on the watch, which means RIP WatchKit, the older, more constrained, less performant framework, and hello, better, brighter app future. Rumor also has it SwiftUI was originally built by the Watch Frameworks lead, who then took it back with him when he returned to lead iOS frameworks. And once Craig Federighi, Apple's senior vice president of software engineering, saw it, he wanted it everywhere. And now, so it is. watchOS 6 brings Apple's calculator app to the watch, which, considering it was available on the iPhone since day one in 2007, deserves and gets a finally. It's pretty bare bones, but does have a handy tip calculator function, which drew emoji and dark mode level cheers from the WWDC crowd. It's also written in SwiftUI, which is great, because Apple engineers should always be using their own code and hitting any null bugs long before developers do. There's no calculator watch face though, which is a 1980s nostalgia bummer. And there's also still no Notes app for watch, which is every kind of bummer. Being able to voice dictate new notes and quickly reference existing ones right on the wrist just makes the kind of ultra mobile sense that does. Voice memos, which I think launched with iOS 3, is also coming over, which is great, as is the new Audiobooks app, which is a subset of the fuller new Books app on iOS and Mac. You probably don't want to read novels on your wrist, but you probably do want to throw on a set of headphones and keep on listening to them, so this also makes a ton of sense. But just in case you're listening too loudly, there's a new noise app that doesn't just track headphone volume levels, but samples once a second to track ambient noise levels around you and warn you if they hit levels that could damage your hearing. There's even a new complication that shows you live decibel readings right on your watch face. Yeah, with watchOS 6, Apple Watch isn't just saving lives, it's saving ears as well. It uses the mic on the watch to detect the decibel levels, but as per Apple's privacy by design policy, it doesn't record, save, or transmit any audio. If you choose to turn it on, it simply notes the noise level of one sample, then destroys it and goes on to the next. There's also a new cycle tracking app. To tell you more about it, here's my colleague from iMore, Lori Gill.
So first of all, you set up your monthly cycle information in the Health app, and then you move into some of the more deep features like tracking your symptoms, whether or not you have spotting on certain days. You can start logging your information like your cervical mucus quality and your basal body temperature. This is all information that you can use to track your health information. Then once it's all set up, your cycle history kind of shows up as like almost like an infograph. Then you will have notifications that will appear on your Apple Watch that will let you know your fertility window if you're trying to or trying not to have a baby, and let you know when your period is predicted to start. You can also log your symptoms right from your Apple Watch instead of having to use your phone. And it's a sort of private notification that'll show up on your Apple Watch. And something that Apple makes sure to do is to keep that all on device. This isn't information that's going to some other company. You won't be tracked by somebody else or have this information sold to an ad agency that will then try to get you to buy baby clothes or something because it can tell that you're having a baby.
Thanks, Lori. With watchOS 6, Apple is introducing more new watch faces than they have since the original watch. There's a modular compact which tries to give you the best of both infograph worlds, and a new monochrome style for the existing infograph face. There's a new gradient face, a version of which was previously exclusive to the Hermes watch. There's large numerals, which has analog hands but fills the display with a large digital hour in a variety of languages. The highly accessible and legible modern digital with its 4 numbers in 4 quadrants. California, which gives an Hermes-style display-filling analog face to every watch. And the new analog solar, which visualizes the sun's path from day to night. It also brings back time travel, which lets you look backwards and forwards at state and data, and I'm still all shades of salty Apple took it away. I really want to be able to spin back and forth through my Pig Center calendar complication on infographic. You'll be able to reorder watch faces directly on your watch, and for many of the faces, if you don't want or need them filling the full rounded rectangle, you can switch them to a merely focus-filling center circle, and that opens up room for super complications in all 4 corners of the periphery, including new ones like wind and rain, decibel level, audiobooks, voice memos, and cellular connectivity. To help with non-visual timekeeping, you'll be able to set your watch to tap you every hour on the hour and chime out loud if sound is on, like a bird chime, a robin. Seriously, let's see how many noise alerts that sets off. For half a decade, activity rings on Apple Watch have encouraged us to get up, get moving, and get in some exercise. But achievement awards aside, mostly just one day at a time. Now, with watchOS 6, Apple is adding activity trends. It compares 9 key metrics from the last 90 days to your performance over the last 365 days. They include exercise minutes per day, stand hours per day, stand minutes per day, distance per day, cardio levels, move calories per day, walking pace, flights of stairs climbed per day. You can see detailed reports, including graphs in the Activity app for iPhone. If you're trending up, the arrow points up and the caption is full of cheer and positive reinforcement. If you're trending down, the arrow points down and you get coaching tips to help you turn that directional frown on upside down. The Health app on iPhone has also been redesigned and now includes a summary section, favorites, so the data that's most important to you is always available and glanceable, and highlights, which shows you what the system's machine learning thinks you need to see at any given time. In watchOS 6, Siri can Shazam, even over LTE. No, not turn into Captain Marvel. No, not that Captain Marvel, the big red cheese one, but the Shazam service that can identify songs for you on the go. Siri can also speak directions in maps if you want it to, and show you web search results. Those are clever. Siri brings up a web view, but instead of showing you the actual page, it shows you the stripped down reader view, which makes it so much more legible and usable on the small Apple Watch display. Siri can also find friends in watchOS 6, offer dynamic smart replies, and put even more relevant shortcuts into the Siri watch face. Now, one thing Siri, even Apple Watch, can't do yet is help you get your coffee on. And believe me, so much coffee has died bringing you these videos and all my WWDC coverage. So much coffee. So much. But that's where Skillshare can help. It's an online learning community with over 25,000 classes in video, audio, business, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes on must-know topics so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love, or in this case, make the things you love. Michael Phillips is Director of Training at Blue Bottle Coffee, one of my favorite places on earth. He shows you what it takes to brew an amazing cup of coffee, not just for yourself, but even if you want to host your own coffee tasting at home for your friends. It's just coffee the way it's meant to be done. Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today and get 2 months of unlimited access to over 25,000 classes for free. To sign up, visit the link in the description and start learning today. Thanks Skillshare, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. watchOS 6 is coming to Apple Watch Series 1 and later this fall, and if past is any prologue, there'll probably be some additional new features for this year's new versions of the watch coming with it. There's no watchOS 6 public beta, alas, because the watch doesn't have a user-accessible Lightning port, which means if anything goes wrong and you need to do a hardwire restore, you need to go to the Apple Store to do it. There is a developer beta, but seriously, if you're not making apps and you need your watch, as a watch, stay clear. I'm working on an in-depth preview for you, and I'll have a full review ready as soon as it ships. So hit like, hit subscribe, and then hit up the comments below and let me know what you think of watchOS 6. What are you glad we got, and what do you think is still missing? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.